gonna go with Baltimore Ravens. I'm gonna go with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not sure what to expect out of this game because there's been a lot of narratives placed, but it was asked by some of our partners at 92.6 WKBP to spot what is the general consensus from straight from the block on who's going to go to the Super Bowl and who are we rooting for. And I told them that unanimously, we're all rooting for Lamar Jackson. So I'm going to stick to that narrative and say Baltimore. Quest, you go.
Of course, we're going for Lamar. A.K.A. Lamar Salas. I want my son to win. I want my son. It's kind of like, you kind of get tired of seeing the same teams. Like, all right, we get it, Patrick Mahomes. We get it. All right. It's like when you were seeing fucking Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I was like, all right, my nigga, the fuck? Like, shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? But, nah, I got my son Lamar, bro. I ain't gonna front. I'm assuming it's going to be a really good game, but just because I'm assuming it's going to be a really good game, I got to feel it's going to be a blowout. Like, it's not going to be as tight as pause. It's not going to be as close as I think. I don't know. I got a feeling it's going to be, yeah. Yeah, I don't think. And I'm going to pay attention because I want to see the easy conspiracy. I want to see. I'm going to start paying attention to the refs at these Kansas City games. I want to see if they really be on their fucking easy conspiracy shit.
Easy, let me tell you something. So far, right? Easy's at home, really smiling and enjoying himself how things have been playing out. Because he's been trying to tell people something, right? And he's just waiting to see how it all plays out. Who you got, Ken?
He's been saying this since the beginning of the season. So I gotta pay attention to be like, yeah, this ref Wilder. He might be part of it. I gotta
especially if this ends up being a blowout, Kansas City winning.
Oh,
well, don't even put that in there. Let's not even push that.
Lamar's ready.
I have no control over the football gods, Kay. Don't worry. Go ahead.
Listen, once Lamar just get in the huddle, all he gotta do is, you can't stop the rain. Once he started doing that, it's ball game. I got hope. I got faith.
So, everybody know we going for Baltimore. We going for Lamar Jackson. But I'm gonna say this: this is the toughest game to pick because it's like Mahomes don't lose in the playoffs, B. He don't lose in the playoffs, and that's what his greatness is really shaped around. Because come playoff time, he gets even better than the regular season. When he's supposed to lose, he doesn't lose. Like, that boy bad. Like, Pat Mahomes is that dude. But to be that dude, you got to beat that dude. And I feel like Lamar is ready to do that to Kansas City defense because that defense is crazy. Like, the Chiefs' defense is the reason why they're here right now. It's not Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes did what he did in the playoffs, but all season long it's been the Chiefs' defense. But there ain't no defense for Lamar when he's on another one. Like, you could have the perfect defense call. Every defender is in the right spot, and Lamar would just look at it and blow it on you for 75 fucking yards to make everybody look slow and stupid, look like they were standing in one place. And Baltimore's defense is just, they've been that consistent every game, where it's like, nah, these dudes is crazy. And they kind of healthy. So with all that being said, I'm going with Baltimore. And if there's a blowout in any way, hopefully it's Baltimore blowing out the Chiefs, not the other way around.
That's what I got a feeling it's going to be. I don't know why.
Baltimore against a good team, they slap them by 20 or more. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I just got a feeling it's going to be I want it to be a good close game, but I just got a feeling it's going to be a blowout. Like look at the whole playoffs. The games that we thought was going to be wound up being smoke. Niggas getting smoked out the locker room. Like, pack these niggas up early. Like, niggas losing by 30, 40. Like, yeah, I just feel it's going to be a blowout. I don't know. I feel like it's his time now. And, the football gods is with him. Regular God is with him. Allah's with him. Buddha. All them niggas.
He said Allah.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Look. Dudes got lucky the last 2 years because Lamar was hurt in the playoffs. It's not like Baltimore didn't make the playoffs. They made it, or like the year before, they just lost out because he wasn't there for the last game of the regular season and they needed that to win. You know what I'm saying? But Lamar in the playoffs, is just all right. I'm here now. You know what I mean?
It's his time.
Everybody talking about Josh Allen versus Pat Mahomes, and they talking about what's the dude from Cincy name? What's my guy from Cincinnati name? Jake Burrow. They talking about Burrow,
Joe Burrow, yeah.
Josh Allen. Oh, these are the top quarterbacks in the AFC. Lamar was
not in the NFL. Like he's not in the NFL.
Listening to these niggas like, word, I'm not here, right? I bet. Show all of y'all. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this.
Is that the late game?
No, that's the first game. That's the early game. 3 o'clock. That's the 3 o'clock game. So what I will say is this. I'm sorry, you echoing. You're echoing. What I will say is this, and this is gonna sound weird, but this is a soundbite. It's not like Mahomes isn't black, as most people would call him a homeboy, right? But what I told to the men of Not Right, Not Wrong, I told them, I said, the real black dude is Lamar, right? Like, we know Mahomes is black, but the blackity black is Lamar. You know, like he's the real representation of what of us. The braids, the swag, everything about him screams us, which is hard. So even though them two are going against each other, it's like I think most of Black America is rooting for Lamar because he represents us in a specific type of way. And I think if he can make it to the Super Bowl and win, it will change the landscape of black quarterbacks in the NFL for a very long time. I think for the next 10 years. So shout out to Lamar Jackson, and hopefully he pulls it off. 6 p.m. game on Fox will be the Detroit Lions versus the San Francisco 49ers. We'll start backwards with K. You pick. Let me get your pick for that game.
It's like my heart is telling me one thing, but my brain is telling me something else. You know what I'm saying? My brain is telling me the 49ers because the 49ers have been the most consistent team in the NFC all season long. My brain is telling me the 49ers because Debo's playing and their defense is stacked and they got all the names that everybody know, household names. But my heart is saying Dan Campbell gonna have his boys ready. It's Detroit fucking year. And Detroit, it plays a physical style of offense and defense as just like, we don't give a fuck. We coming at you, motherfuckers. And you got to stomp us out 20 times to keep us down. You know what I'm talking about? And so, I'm going with my heart, man. Detroit. The brain is the brain. The brain is the brain. The heart is pure. Detroit.
The heart is pure. Yo, oh shit. I ain't gonna hold you. First of all, this should have been the fucking first game. Like I don't know why they feel like this is the bad game. This should have been the first game. Man, you know, fuck San Francisco. Fuck out of here. Who the fuck would name their child Debo? Like you like Friday that much that you fuck your child's life up and name him Debo? Man, fuck him. Fuck all them niggas. I'm going for Detroit. Detroit is gonna pull us off, and they're gonna go to the Super Bowl and play against Lamar. That's what I want to see. Baltimore versus Detroit. Blackness at its finest. That's what I want to see. So I'm going for Detroit, man. I don't want to see fucking San Francisco win shit.
So I came across something. Let me make my pick first, and then I'll say something. I think I'm gonna stick to K's Super Bowl prediction and say San Francisco versus Baltimore because I think that would be the most entertaining Super Bowl out of the two.
You don't think Detroit and Baltimore would be good?
No.
Okay.
I think K. This is why we good friends and Well, we're both Giant fans, right? Because it's the whole underdog mentality thing that wants us to root for Detroit. And I have no issues with about Detroit. I would root for them too. I want them to win. But if I happen to get caught up in the Super Bowl, I would like to see the two best teams there. And it's very rare that we could get the two best teams from each conference in the Super Bowl. Kay mentioned that in a previous show.
Let me ask
So
you, so you agree with my notion that it isn't always the best team that wins in the playoffs in football? It's just that day they could just been the better team that day.
No. So what you have to understand and you have to agree with, there's a difference between being the best team that day and the best team 4 to 5 weeks in a row. You follow what I'm saying? So you could have, let's just use Dallas Cowboys for example, right? The reality is Dallas Cowboys have great regular seasons, but don't have great playoffs. There was at one point in time during the season, I said this in the group chat. I said, if y'all lost, instead of being 12, what do y'all end up being? 12 and 6, 12 and 5, whatever, right? Instead of having that record, if y'all were like 10 and something and had lost 3 or 4 in a row, right? And then 1, 2 in a row going into the playoffs, that bodes more well for y'all than being on a win streak and then getting into the playoffs. Because at some point in time, you got to lose, right? Which is why Giants fans, we always get hyped. If it's like the last 2 games in the season, we start to put it together, we like, oh, niggas is in trouble. Because if we got to run off 3, 4 more, it's going to be right into the playoffs. That's why our regular season to us, we don't pay that as much mind. You know what I'm saying? I think K could co-sign that. But what I'm saying to you is Dallas could be a great regular season team. Come playoffs is nothing. So some of these teams, like the Detroit Lions, did not have a better record than the Dallas Cowboys. Some of these teams, like the Green Bay Packers, didn't have a better record than the Dallas Cowboys, but they beat them because it's about when you start to play well, not how well you've played all season. You know what I'm saying?
You see that nigga face? He about to say, "Man, fuck you, cuz."
No, I mean, and this is not a shot at Dallas Cowboys, but at some point in time, even the Cowboy fans would prefer whatever streak they've been on to be in the playoffs so they could get to the Super Bowl, as opposed to having a great record.
Let's start talking about cowgirls and all that shit. Let's keep it where we keep it.
Let's keep it a Super Bowl. So yes, back to his point, the best team on any given Sunday doesn't always win. That's absolutely correct. But it's about who plays the best come playoff time and towards the end of the season. That usually goes deep, has a deep run into the playoffs. And one of the 2 hottest teams in the league, one of them is the Baltimore Ravens going into the playoffs, right? There's different teams that were hot going into the playoffs and they just kept it up. But anyway, I think Detroit Lions could keep their momentum going. I just don't know if it would make a really great Super Bowl. Something makes me feel like if Baltimore had to play Detroit, it might be a blowout.
They smoked them by 34 earlier in the season.
Who,
I believe Baltimore smoked Detroit by 34 earlier this year.
Yeah, so that if that's a sign of anything, Quest, I don't want to. I mean, I ain't gonna be watching, but if I happen to be watching, I wouldn't want to watch that.
Yeah, but that's early in the season. Now that it looked like they got it figured out, like could be a different game.
Yeah, could be. So yeah, those are our picks.
Yeah,
for Sunday.
Eminem ain't gonna be agreeing with you and signing any of your autographs.
Yeah, I feel you. And listen, I do actually wish Detroit the best. I'm just saying that I would prefer to see if I had to see it, I want the 2 best teams there. Real quick, I put this in the
because Dallas not gonna be this.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So I know Kay wants to talk about this, and I'm gonna let him take over this segment a little bit before we get to the topic that I put in, and I want to hear everybody's picks. Let's talk about the coaching hirings. Quest one, not Quest. Mr. Martin wanted to talk about the coaches that have been hired. We know one of them is Morris, right? Why can't I remember his freaking first name?
Raheem Morris.
Raheem. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I don't know why it escaped me right now. I'm just like, huh? Yes, Raheem Morris has been signed by to head as the head coach for Atlanta Falcons, correct? Right. So that's one coaching hire, and then Oakland finally stopped playing around and gave Antonio Pierce his contract, as he should, and his old coach gave his blessing and also signed on as a consultant, if I'm correct. Tom Coughlin is going to be a consultant to the Raiders to help that man out, and I think that's amazing, to be honest.
Two-time Super Bowl winning champ. Of course, he's a positive influence to any organization because he won 2.
Yep. So I think shout out to that. Okay, is Jim Harbaugh has been signed to coach the Los Angeles Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. What other hiring am I missing, Kay?
The Carolina Panthers hired Dave Canals. He's famous because he's a rookie. This was his first year in the NFL this season. He was the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's the guy that had Baker Mayfield looking how Baker looked this season into the second round of the playoffs. Okay. So the Carolina Panthers feel like, well, if you could do that with Baker, you could do something with our number 1 overall pick, Bryce. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You have the Patriots stayed in-house and hired Gerard Mayo.
Yes, absolutely. Gerard Mayo. I thought we covered that, but I for some reason I don't think we did.
No, we ain't covered that. That's
Gerard Mayo, and him being of the first Black coach in New England, making history with that hiring. He spoke on understanding the weight and acknowledging being an African American coach in Boston, and not wanting to not look at color when it comes to that. You got to look at color. He accepts that. He knows the weight of being the first Black man to coach in New England. So shout out to Mr. Mayo, and I hope he does well with the New England Patriots. Is there any other coaching hirings I'm missing?
And then you got the Tennessee Titans. They hired Brian Callahan. Brian Callahan was the offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals the past 3 seasons. So he gets credit for Burrow. He gets credit for the Cincinnati offense and how they spread the ball around. So Tennessee had a defensive-minded head coach in Mike Vrabel. He won Coach of the Year. He was known for doing more with less. But there's a female owner now, new ownership, and they was bumping heads. They got rid of him, and now they bring in a younger offensive-minded guy, an offensive-minded kind of a QB guru kind of guy, because, they got the young quarterback over there too, and Will Levis. They turning over to Will Levis next season. So it's like, all right, you was with Burrow. We want you to come over here and show our young boy how we do. You know what I mean?
All right.
But with that being said, there's two openings left. You got the Washington Commanders and you have the Seattle Seahawks. These two organizations still have openings for head coaches, and they're still doing that in their interviews and everything. But the names that were not called in the hiring, the 6 hirees that we just mentioned, Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, and Pete Carroll. People forget that Pete Carroll was even available. Like, he didn't quit Seattle. He came on and said it. The non-football people fired me, pretty much. This was the decision made by the non-football people. So the fact that he was showing, taking a shot on the way out with an organization that meant so much to him and that he worked with well for so many years, that shows you that he's kind of bitter and he feels some type of way. But he wasn't even interviewed for any of the spots. Like while the coaching corral is going around and niggas is getting 2 and 3 interviews and everybody's going and flying out, I ain't hear Pete Carroll name that one time. So it's just crazy that proven winning coaches of the year people like Belichick, 6-time Super Bowl champ, Vrabel, coach of the year just in 2020. We ain't talking about coach of the year 10 years ago. We talking about a few years ago, Mike Vrabel was coach of the year because he took the Titans to the second round of the playoffs, and nobody saw that happening when he had a trash roster, pretty much. And then Pete Carroll, who's done everything in Seattle. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like none of them got.
Do you believe that there's a chance those guys don't get hired?
I believe there's a good chance because with the 2 organizations that's left, as far as Seattle and Washington, from what I was hearing, those 3 guys haven't been interviewed. They're not in the process of being interviewed by any one of those organizations, and they've been holding coaching searches for a minute. So they already interviewed like 3 or 4 people who they want. They already brought a few of them on second interviews. You know what I'm saying? And they haven't interviewed the Belichick, the Pete Carroll, or the Vrabel. So you don't.
So you think
the name that you do hear, just so you know, I got a cowgirl right there rubbing his eye. Dan Quinn is seriously linked to both. Like there's a good chance that Dan Quinn is not back as a Cowgirls defensive coordinator. He's either going to be the head coach of the Seahawks or the Commanders, because he's been interviewing with both, and I know he had a second interview with Washington. I'm not sure about the second interview with Seattle, but he's the only coach. He's the only coach that both of those teams have interviewed. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So he's the only one where it's like they may have to have a bidding war, or somebody may want to sign him before the next one does. But everybody else is like, they just, you know. But the fact that all these young coaches, these young guys, first-time head coaches, got a job before the proven vets, the Belichicks, the Carrolls, it just shows that the NFL is moving in a different, you know what I'm saying? The
direction,
NFL
different direction.
And I think that Dan Campbell.
Quick question. So do you think that they're moving in a direction like on purpose, like they intentionally trying to like sway it this way, or it's just happening?
It's just time. I think it might just be time. Because first of all, most of those coaches are super old. You know what I'm saying? Like when you think of Belichick, when you think of Pete Carroll, these dudes is kind of old. So it's like eventually they were gonna have to move on.
I mean, it's not like they on the field. Like your mind, like when you're older, your mind, like you know what I'm saying, like age in coaching, to me, age shouldn't really be a factor because it's more mental than physical. Like
think about it as NBA coaches, right? I'll use that as an example. I think that's a good example. NBA coaches, who's the oldest NBA coach in the league? It's Popovich, right? Right? But Pop, the reason why Pop is still in the league, not only is because he's winning, but he's been reinventing himself with the youth as they've come along, right? He keeps himself grounded while still having his kind of coaching map in place or whatever, right? Or style. Like his discipline style, while also keeping, with the Joneses. And there's a reason why most of the older coaches can't coach. Like Thibodeau, for instance, I'll use Thibodeau for an example. We hear constantly back and forth that Thibodeau is like, we know what type of defensive coach he is, right? But sometimes he's not very relatable. Like some of the newer, younger guys have issues with him or have bumped heads with him. And that might be a disconnect, right? And sometimes you just need someone who's a little more grounded. I think that's why guys like a Jason Kidd, Tyronn Lue, some guys who are younger who's actually played with some of these players have a different rapport. So I think at some point in time, even the older guys, it's just time for them to go.
And you got to remember now, the NFL, Sundays, because, NFL is played on Sundays. Sundays is looking more and more like Saturdays. I'm saying like the college game. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like you see more college stuff happening in the NFL now. All these young men are coming into the league, and these young men, they have social media. They're different. Old men, old people are going to be old. They stuck to certain ways and certain styles and certain ways of getting messages across and communicating with people, and not communicating with some people. Where you have the younger coaches who bring everybody together. They're in the locker room. They dancing with the team. They doing the gritty with the team. They doing everything with the players, and the players really feel connected to them. Like the Dan Campbells, like the D'Amico Ryans. You know, they're
Like the Harbaugh, even Harbaugh, you see partying with the team in a younger way. I appreciate that.
You see, I was about to get to that. The only old person that got hired out of the 6 is Harbaugh. Harbaugh is only 60. He's not even that old. But when you look at he's 60, and then the second oldest person out of the 6 new head coaches that just got hired is Raheem Morris at 34.
34, dumb young.
The rest of them, the other coaches, is 34 and younger. You know what I'm saying? Harbaugh is the one that got hired, but you can't question if Harbaugh can relate to the youth because he just took Michigan to the chip. You understand what I'm saying to you? He just took them young men and had them unified as a team and playing as a team. Even when he got suspended, they still handled their business and carried out the mission. So it's like, he could coach young men. You ain't got to question that with his age. So he got the job early as the only OG that got a job.
Well, let's. I want to move on, but I also want to say another example of that to follow up with Kay is Deion Sanders and how he relates to the college teams in Colorado. He makes sure to bring, even though he may be an older gentleman to them, he's young in spirit, and he play my theme music and all of that. Like that's something those kids could relate to while he's getting through to some of those kids. You know what I mean? So that leads us into the next topic, which is I would like to know what you guys Mount Rushmore NFL players are. Now, I'm going to start with Mr. Bayless. Your Mount Rushmore could be however your Mount Rushmore is, but it's only 4 people.
I don't want to hear none of your shit, okay? I don't want to hear none of your shit. I don't want to hear none of your shit.
I'll put it on mute. I'm going to mute my stuff. I'll put it on mute.
We both gonna mute. I'm gonna let you go through your list with no interruptions.
Any positions, it doesn't matter. It just
doesn't matter. Your Mount Rushmore of NFL.
Ooh, it's about to be a plethora of Dallas Cowboys. Nah, Mount Rushmore, shit. This is my fault because I didn't study for this. I didn't really like sit down and think who my Mount Rushmore, because I don't even know who I consider like the best quarterback. I'm lying, I do know. All right, so I got Tom Brady at quarterback. It's just when I play football, this is who I wanted to be like. It's my favorite wide receiver of all time. I think he's the best of all time. Arguably to me. Other people won't agree, but Michael Irvin, Jerry Rice, fuck, this hurts so bad to say this. Lawrence Taylor, and
that's 4. It's 4.
I know. I got one more. I'm trying to think like what position I want to.
Wait, isn't Mount Rushmore 4?
No, I thought it's 5.
Is Mount Rushmore 4? At the 5. All right, let's give it 5. Let's do 5.
No?
Let's do 5. But I think it's 4.
Well, that's the white man's Mount Rushmore. Our Mount Rushmore is gonna be 5 because we black. And I'm gonna probably go Emmitt Smith at running back.
Okay. Now, Don Jaman.
It's hard because so many positions. Like I think like if you would do the Mount Rushmore shit, it would have to be like by position because it's hard to make it's so many positions and so many great people to put just all together into 1-5. That's dumb hard. Like
Well, so I'm gonna show you how to do it. I'm gonna leave my the football
Oh, why the fuck you ain't give me the
aficionado.
template? Why you ain't give me the template?
Look, it ain't my fault you ain't studied. So no, I'm gonna leave you for last, K. Let me leave you for last because I think you the best, you the NFL guy. So I'm gonna leave you for last.
Did he give you a template? Did he give you a template, K?
No, he didn't give me. I'm gonna give it to you though. I'm gonna show you how you do this, son. You know what I mean? So first quarterback, Joe Montana. Second receiver is going to be Jerry Rice. Third running back, I'm putting it Barry Sanders. And fourth is going to be the best defensive player, which is Lawrence Taylor. That's how I'm putting my Mount Rushmore together. Because I believe Mount Rushmore is four.
Though.
It's only four. You did five.
Because Mount Niggamore is five.
But no, the only reason why I said I'm gonna show you how to do it is because you see there's each position is different. It's four. You put quarterback.
I did a quarterback. I did a running back. I did a running back, and I did.
You did two receivers. You did two receivers.
You did two receivers. That's what it was.
There's no way Michael Irvin had to be in there. Michael Irvin had to be. My number was 89 because of Michael Irvin. Like I'm the one after.
Oh.
That's what I was
You wasn't to be in the 88 club, huh?
I didn't want to. That's what I'm saying. Like he already established 88. Nah, that's his. So if I was coming up, 89 is me. So when you see the number 89, you're gonna think my name, not Michael Irvin.
Okay. So
I feel like the 88 club is cool, but it's like regardless of who you think about it, what's the first number? When you think of the 88 Cowboys, the first person you're gonna, it don't matter how good you become, it's gonna be Michael Irvin's number. You get what I'm saying?
So I have a. I'm sorry. This is a sidebar. I'm sorry, Kay. I have to pause for a second. I have to ask Mr. Bayless this question because it's bothered me since I saw a clip. I saw a clip of Michael Irvin talking about how he spoke to C.D. Lamb about wearing number 88, and it was just weird to me because if Michael Irvin is a Hall of Fame, why wouldn't they retire 88?
Yeah,
and then I did. So I'm wondering why. As Michael Irvin being a Dallas great, why isn't his number retired? Why is 88? Because even after Michael Irvin, Des Bryant wore it. So it's just it's
might
weird.
Be a thing. Like the 88 club might be a real like he wants to see the best receiving niggas in his because Des Bryant to me was worthy of wearing it. I feel like C.D. Lamb is worthy of wearing it. They just I don't know. Me like I said, but me like if I'd have went pro, I wouldn't wear 88. I'd wear 89. Like 89 was my number because you know what I'm saying? Like I just respected 88.
I feel like it's one of those things until you prove you live up to Michael Irvin, then you shouldn't get the number. Like win Super Bowls, etc. so forth.
So the 88 club is a thing. Michael Irvin does select them to wear his number, and he puts the pressure on them. You heard him say he put his rings on the table. Like he said the cowgirls that came before him put their shit on the table and told them that they got to match that. So he does the same thing to these young motherfuckers. So that's why he be crying and screaming and losing his voice when they lose. And he be all animated and shit. Because it's like, how dare y'all not rep like how I repped. I rep for my OGs. But you young bitch ass niggas ain't repping for me.
See, now, if I was a Dallas Cowboy, he wouldn't be mad at me.
But and that just goes about the pressure putting on the cowgirls from, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, my Mount Rushmore is damn near the same exact thing as D. That's crazy. It's crazy. Because yeah, it's Barry Sanders, it's Jerry Rice, it's Lawrence Taylor. And it's Joe. So because now I can have 5, I'm gonna put Montana and Brady. Because I saw these 5 players, I physically watched them play. Like I seen them play. I watched them throughout their careers play football. And there's no way I could leave any one of them off. You know what I'm saying? There's no way Joe Montana isn't on the list because I watched Joe do his thing. You know what I'm saying? I watched him back to back kill. And then Brady comes on and wins 6. So I got to give Brady that credit because Brady kill too. Like he was the ultimate football player. There's no Mount Rushmore without Brady's face up there. Brady, Montana, Rice, Barry Sanders over Walter Payton only because I didn't see Walter Payton play. I didn't physically watch him play. I saw Barry Sanders and the shit that I seen Barry Sanders do to grown ass men. I've never seen again, and I'm never ever going to see people do that on the football field constantly at the running back position.
But my question is like with Barry Sanders because he was floating in my head too. But my question is like since it was so short, like does it still resonate to Mount Rushmore? Like it was short lived.
Listen, I always say this. I was watching the game. When he literally broke. I think it was Rod Woodson. He was playing for the Patriots at the time, where he broke his ankle. Like he literally broke the man's foot on the field. The man's season was done because Barry turned him around and his foot snapped. And damn near career was over. We ain't talking about, he broke your ankle. So he literally broke that man's foot by turning him around and ran for the touchdown too, like a 56-yard touchdown route. I've seen somebody in NFL break another man like literally.
Because let me tell you this, I was, and he was gonna be my honorable man. I was gonna put Rod Woodson on my my Rushmore because, like I said, like I played wide receiver, I played free safety, and that was my Rod Woodson was my guy. Him and Ty Law was my guys. Like those are the guys. I'm like, I'm gonna mix those and I'm gonna kill people.
If I'm telling you, I remember because it wasn't like he did it to a no-name defender. No, he did it to a Pro Bowler who was a no-name at the time. So if it wasn't Rod Woodson, it was one of the other Woodsons, but it was a defender on the Patriots. He was a safety, and he was a no-name. Where after that game, it was like, damn, they lost him for the season. That's going to be a big loss. You know what I'm saying? Barry Sanders, man, Barry.
I'm not
he literally had to. Detroit Lions sucked. He was the only good player on his team damn near. And people still fill the seats to come see that man. At the running back position, 30 carries a game at like 5'8", 180.
So let me hit y'all with a quick, very short blind reaction real quick. I came across an article. No, not an article. I don't want to say an article. A post that said if Detroit wins, they should sign Barry Sanders for the Super Bowl and let him have one play just so he could get a ring, right? And my question to you guys is, how would y'all feel about that if they did that? Would that be super dope or kind of weird?
How old is Barry Sanders?
55.
Oh.
He's 55.
That would be stupid. I'll cut right to it. Yeah, I'll be stupid. If he wants to be a part of the Detroit Lions organization, his ass should have been down. Don't wait till we fucking in the Super Bowl and now you want to be down with us, my nigga. I don't give a fuck who you are. If you ain't down from day one and you ain't riding with us from day one, how dare you want to be a part of the roster? If he's a part of the
how do we know that he doesn't have a job with Detroit?
That's what I'm saying. If he has a job in the organization, then he's going to get a ring. You know what I'm saying? So if this is a job that you've been doing, then you've earned it. But don't jump on the bandwagon at the end, my boy.
I was just about to ask, like, couldn't he be in the office? Doesn't everybody get a ring if the organization wins a ring? Like the secretary, everybody get a ring, right? Practice squad, like everybody. So I'm like, if he got a job with them, like, but do you know if he works with them?
I don't. I'll look that up. It was just something I came across, and I just wanted to get you guys' opinion.
It's a cool idea, though. It would be a cool idea. But like Kay said, Nah, nigga, you wasn't gang when we was losing. Fuck out of here, cuz.
But
I
real
don't
quick, back to the Mount
I,
Rushmore though. You said his career was short lived. We have to remember 3 years is the average length of a NFL football player, and running backs
Five.
sometimes can have a less years than that. So he played for 10 years and he decided to retire. So sometimes when we look at the guys that had longevity, like a Emmitt Smith that played longer, you know, and Barry, because Barry didn't have to retire. That's the crazy thing. He didn't have to retire. He still could have been good for another 2-3 years.
facts.
And if he would have, maybe he would have gotten the ring. Who knows? But at the end of the day, he shut it down. But in a 10-year span, nobody was touching that boy. That's all I know. So he's still on my Mount Rushmore, regardless. But let's move on